In a cinematic duel, we are presented with a choice. One warrior fights to protect, while the other moves with a cold, relentless precision that ignores everything but the target. We instinctively recognize the hero. This is Hector of Troy, defined by his dedication to his city and his tender loyalty to his infant child. He represents the peak of moral duty. Then there is his opposite, the monster, Achilles. This archetype is driven by ego and a demand for physical power that dwarfs the needs of everyone around him. From a young age, we are taught to value the defender. We believe we want the moral man to win because his victory justifies the rules we live by. But as the fight begins, we often catch ourselves watching the monster, waiting for the moment he finally breaks through. Filmmakers rely on a specific psychological bias called the halo effect. When we see someone perform with extreme capability, we subconsciously start assigning them other positive virtues, even if they haven't earned them. In cognitive film theory, this is the first step toward building allegiance. As this text notes, our allegiance is shaped by our moral and ideological evaluation of a character. Directors use this evaluation process to force a choice. They show us that while the hero is good, the monster is effective. This creates a tension between what we claim to value, justice and kindness, and what we actually respect, the presence of undeniable strength. To understand this attraction, we can look to philosopher Edmund Burke, who divided human attraction into two distinct categories, the beautiful and the sublime. The good hero maps to the beautiful. His morality makes him safe and predictable. He fits within the boundaries of our social order, making him pleasant but ultimately constrained. But the monster is the sublime. His sheer scale and terrifying capability create a psychological anchoring bias. He exists outside the rules, and that makes him impossible to ignore. This bias forces the brain to prioritize power over ethics. We are drawn to the mythic capability of the character because it represents a level of freedom the hero can't touch. We overlook the monster's cruelty because we are awestruck. The mind becomes submissive to the scale of his actions, regardless of their cost. Friedrich Nietzsche took this further, looking past aesthetics to the actual structure of how we define good and bad. He identified the hero's path as slave morality. In this view, values like safety and the collective good are tools used by the vulnerable to limit the power of those who could harm them. The monster operates on master morality. He doesn't look to the crowd for permission. He lives for his own standard of excellence and physical dominance. While society prepares us for the hero's path, a conflict often ends in favor of whoever is more capable of imposing their will, regardless of who is more correct. We cling to the just world fallacy because we need to believe that being good is a form of protection, that the hero must win because he is right. But in a devastating climax, we see the hero's goodness fail him. His intentions do not provide a physical defense against a faster, stronger opponent. The monster's victory isn't portrayed as a triumph of evil. It is portrayed as the clinical result of superior ability. He is simply more effective at the task at hand. Violence removes the nuance of character. It doesn't care about a warrior's backstory or his moral standing. It only measures the result of the strike. Honor provides no physical shielding. In a direct confrontation, being a good person is not a functional weapon against superior skill. Psychologist Ernest Becker suggested in The Denial of Death that our admiration for the monster comes from a place of deep-seated fear. We fear that being loved by the crowd won't actually save us. We suspect that goodness is a social contract, that reality itself is under no obligation to honor. We attach our allegiance to the monster because he represents a level of capability that seems to defy the void. Proximity to that power makes us feel less vulnerable. The crowd loves the hero because he serves their needs. They worship the monster because he doesn't seem to have any needs at all. Goodness without the ability to protect it is just a vulnerability. To rely on intentions alone is to ignore how the world actually functions when the stakes are high. The monster's presence serves as a reminder that intentions aren't enough. Survival requires forging a level of competence that makes your values sustainable in the face of force. It's time to look past the stories we were told as children. Stop assuming that being right is the same thing as being ready. If you are ready to evaluate your own capabilities, type competent in the comments and subscribe to MindUnlock to continue auditing your perspective on power and morality.